Hello and welcome back to our continuing adventures on the Let's Defend platform. Today we are taking a whack at the free medium difficulty challenge. Hang on. I am not quite as prepared as what I thought I was. Oh, come on. Yes, free medium incident responder path challenge Windows Registry. Let's see, as a cybersecurity analyst, you've been given an image containing all the registry hives from one of our employees' machines. Your task is to thoroughly examine the provided artifacts and respond to a series of questions based on your analysis. So we are given a Windows VM, and in typical fashion on the desktop, there is a challenge file folder that contains registry image.7zip. I have extracted the 7-zip file onto my local machine, and I have loaded up all the registry hives in the wonderful tool from Eric Zimmerman, Registry Explorer. So I suppose I should probably make that visible to everybody as we go through and take a look at everything that's here. Maybe. Possibly. I gotta shrink it down a little bit. Again, not being as prepared as what I thought. Okay, so let's take a look at the questions we need to answer. How many users were added? What is the build number of the user's operating system? What is the IP address of the machine you are investigating? We suspect that the user may have some video games on the work PC. What is the name of the game? It's solitaire. It's always solitaire. Oh, there was a file that got executed from the downloads directory. What is the modification time of said file? We believe that the user may have installed some malicious files on their work PC. What is the SHA-1 hash of the malicious file? What is the malware family name of the previous file? And then a user opened a file on 2024-5/6 at 6:39:09 on their work PC. What's the name of the file? The user opened MS Paint on their work PC. Can you determine the exact time it happened? Can you find out how long the user had MS Paint open? Okay. So the very first thing is going to come down to how many users were added. I'm assuming how many actual user accounts are on the box. So that's going to be the SAM Hive. So let's transition over so you can see Registry Explorer. You can see here that the image that I have opened up is the one that was contained in C Windows System32 config SAM, and we basically break it down: root, SAM, domains, account, users. And we end up with a bunch of 500s. So administrator, guest, default account, WDAG utility account. Then we get down to it, and then we end up with mmox and all for M. So, and those end up with 1001 and 1002. So if I were to take the question, basically considering the fact that, okay, we don't see a generic user account or something that would be tied to like an AD login, I'm going to assume it's going to be two user accounts given the fact of 1001, 1002, since there's no straight 1000 in this list. So let's see if I am on the money or if I am just entirely misunderstanding the question. So we are answering 2, and apparently we're correct. Okay, and now we are looking for the build number of said operating system. And that, I believe, is going to be the system registry key. Or software. Might be software. Okay. Um, so this is here. So where's software in here? There's software. Again, pulling the Hive file from C, Windows, System32, config software. Let's see, root. What would we be taking a general look in? That's the question. Well, how about Microsoft? Let's take a look in Windows, because there's typically, what, a current version? Yeah, current version. Um, program files, device path. Okay, so it looks like that's the environmental variables that are there. If we open up, we got everything else that's there. Um, okay, about Windows. Okay, here we go. Windows NT current version. Here we go. Here we go. Here we go. Let's make sure that that's actually, you guys can see that, right? Yeah, so software, Microsoft Windows NT current version, and then we get current build number. So it looks like that's 19045. And that is specific, yeah, okay. 19045. We'll submit, bring it back, and showing there that obviously we got that. Okay, IP address now. Okay, so we'll bring back up Registry Explorer. And where are we looking for this? This one's gonna likely be system then, if I remember correctly. So let's go ahead and clean these up. System right here. Again, pulling from C Windows System32 config system. Go root. Usually it would be current control set, but I guess we're just going to deal with control set 01. Services TCP/IP would be my guess. And I don't see an address listed there, but let's go ahead and take a little bit more. Oh, here we go. Parameters, then interfaces. And we can see DHCP, server, subnet mask. No IP address though. So let's take a look at the other interfaces and see if we get more. We do. Bracket starting in 6 Delta 9, ending in 7 Alpha Delta. Curly bracket, I think is what it is. And we can see here we are given a DHCP IP address. And that gives us the assigned 192.168.110.130. So can I just value name? Can I just do a quick copy and paste, or am I going to actually have to type it out? Let's see if that works. Nope, that just takes that. Okay, never mind. So let's just do that then. 192.168, 192.168, 110, and then 130. And then we'll go back to the actual page. You can see I've submitted that, and it's taken it. Okay, now we are looking for a game. So likely we're going to be looking for installed software. And wait, if they've got a game on there, they probably used it recently. So let's see, where's the user accounts? Got default, local service, classes. So can we actually see things that would have been popped in there? So software, Microsoft, Windows, current. Let's see, so app paths is things pulled like from the store. Well, let's take a look. Recent docs. This, oh, here we go. Death Note, really? Okay, well, let's keep this open because I think the next portion is something that we pulled from the downloads directory. So this looks like this is going to be Rainbow Six Siege. Is that specifically what they're looking for? Yeah. A fun game if you can get a nice team together. Let's just make sure. So Rainbow Six Siege. Did I misspell that? Siege. Yeah, I misspelled it. Whoops. Okay, and then since we're in here, do we have recent documents that would actually translate to something that was in? It doesn't break down as much as what I would hoped. Reminders, PCAP, Google. I gotta remember where, let's see. Windows Registry installed applications. Software, Microsoft current version. Okay, I just want to verify that there would have been a second. So let's go out of the user account then for that particular. So it should be what software? Yeah. Microsoft Windows current version, Microsoft current version, and then uninstall. Right? Except I don't see it. Right? Yeah, current version. Oh, Windows NT. No, I think it's just supposed to be general Windows. Current version. Uninstall. Then we should see Rainbow Six Siege in here as well, right? No? Interesting. I would have thought that for sure that would have actually shown up. Otherwise, how in the hell are you playing Rainbow Six Siege if you're... Well, okay then. I guess it's a good thing I thought to take a look at recent documents since I'd still be kind of scratching my head, wondering where in the hell this was. What if it would be something more, again, tied to the actual user? So, I mean, do they have a Windows current? Yeah, because that's where I was just looking, and they don't have an uninstall that would be listed there. Okay, well, now I'm interested as to how this magically... Okay. Well, that ended up being a bit of a waste of time to try to take a look at that, but okay. Um, you take a look at, because we need to know something was executed out, so inside of here, there should be something else underneath Explorer, right? User assist should be in here, right? Yeah. So we're looking for, as a reminder, modification time of the set file, something from the downloads directory. Okay. So we have C users administrator downloads docker desktop installer.exe. And that is realistically about it. MS Paint focus time. That was one of the follow-up questions, wasn't it? 1 minute, 3 seconds for focus. Okay, so from there, that will give us the last question of 1 minute, 3 seconds, just by going with focus time. So that's the very last question. So we're kind of jumping all over the place unintentionally, or maybe full unintentionally. I don't know. Okay, anyways. Um, so we have the execution now, and we need to go back. Okay, so we know that likely the only thing that was kicked off was the Docker. From user assist. So then we would need to take a look at, because it doesn't show up inside of here because there's no going back and forth. Of course, it doesn't even look like they ran it. Right? Oh, no, they did. It's the other one after it was there. So inside of program files, docker front end, docker desktop.exe. Although focus count was 6, run count was 0. Anyways, let's just double check to make sure. I mean, it could also be Death Note. But the question is that it was launched from the downloads directory, and Docker Desktop Installer would be the closer aspect for that one. Okay, so let's pull slightly out of the weeds here. Go back. Um, where do we need to be? I believe this is technically got to be underneath systems. So root, current control set 01 because we don't have the other thing. And it says services, I believe, controls, session manager? Maybe? I just recently had some, yeah, app, compat, cache. And then we get a list of things in here. So we expand this out. And it looks like item number one. No, no, because that's the program name. That's the actual, or what looks like the actual, excuse me. Oh, let's take a look. Edge update. Bunch of stuff in system 32. Store password. Program name. Can we just do Docker? Yes, we can. Then, so it looks like this was cache entry position 23 for C Windows Administrator downloads Docker desktop installer.exe. Contains a modification time of 2024-03-11 13:45:35. All right, so 2024 -03 -11 space, because formatting is important, 13:44:35. Okay, so yeah, we apparently are on the right track. So let me transition this back over. So you'll see over here, the time that we found for Docker desktop installer.exe inside the downloads directory is indeed what they were looking for. More coffee. Anyways, um, oh, okay. We believe that the user may have installed some malicious files on the work PC. So not necessarily that it was the actual Docker desktop installer. So I guess it explains as to why we would actually see that actually show up as installed. Although who's to say that it wasn't Trojanized? It's happened before. Although I'm not entirely sure aware of any instances with it being Docker desktop installer. But I mean, if it happens with one thing, it can happen easily with something else too. So it's not within, or not outside the realm of possibility. Okay, so we are looking for some sort of malicious file then to ascertain. Well, too bad we don't have the MFT, master file table, baby. um, hmm. It's not going to be the classes. It's not the user. It's not Sam. It's not security. It doesn't look like it's system. Okay, so we got the actual user accounts then. No, that doesn't quite sit right either. am cache. Oh, yeah, that's right. I didn't load that up into the Registry Explorer. Well, it wouldn't surprise me if that death note might be something to sit there and kind of lock in on. Um, okay, so now we move over to something else. So also included in the portion um, is in C Windows app compat programs. There's the am cache.hve along with two log files. So there's the other tool, am cache parser, also from Eric Zimmerman. Let me try to bring this up so that way it is visible. And so what we've done is I've dumped it inside of the registry image folder, which contains then C and then the breakdown of the rest of the file system locations for the registry files, and then basically just using the registry image directory as a staging point. So I've got the Registry Explorer dumped in there in its own subfolder, and then AM cache parser. And so basically I ran that pointing to where I have the registry image directory and then C Windows app compat programs amcache.hve. I told it to do -I to include entries for programs. Wanted to export as a CSV inside of registry image, and then I basically just had it do output.csv. And so she ran through and basically created a bunch of CSV files. Associated file entries, device containers, device PMPs, drive binaries, drive packages, program entries, shortcuts, unassociated file entries. And so can I find, so like if I open up program entries, I'm trying to figure out which one I need to specifically look at. And unfortunately, a lot of this is just going to be kind of back and forth, just looking through the available data. Because thankfully, I believe we should get the output of SHA-1s, maybe? Yeah, I'm not really seeing it. Drivers, device. I realize, yes, you guys can't see what I'm looking at. I'm just looking through the CSV files that were created to see if I can find what I am looking for. Okay, well, nuts to that, I guess. Can I just take... Maybe I need to do the cache parser itself as opposed to AM cache. Well, let's try opening up inside of Registry Explorer and see what happens. Okay, so let's find it in here. It'd likely be all the way down at the bottom if I had to guess, given the fact it's the latest one. Yeah, root, inventory application. Let me guess, it's going to be just specifically stuff that's installed. If we take a look, application file, okay, oh, apologies. All right, there we go. So I took the AM cache hive file that I rammed through the parser in C Windows app compat programs amcache.hve. There's you break that down into the sub directory, sub value, inventory application file, and then we should have a list of everything that is here. So Death Note was about the only thing that really stood out from the recent recent docs info that was there. Can we just do name Death Note and we get a hash. Oh no. Oh, am I gonna actually have to sit there and try typing it out? Really? Well, I guess if I gotta do it, I gotta do it. I don't have to like it. Yeah, I can't right click on it to bring anything up. Well, crap. Actually, I suppose what we could do is, so we're assuming Death Note. So let's go to virus total and let's do a bake off, I guess. We'll grab the, all right, I've typed out the hash for Death Note. Take that out of the way. Oh, I guess I don't really need to be overly concerned with Docker. 39 out of 72 engines. I mean, that's pretty good. Good take with that. Trojan, family labels of Jaik, Jaik. Okay, I'm going to assume that is legitimately the malicious one, considering the fact it's lit up like a Christmas tree. Okay, that's what they were looking for. And then the family, I said what? Jaik? Okay. All right. I mean, that works. Let's just go ahead and do a reanalysis. And then let's do for marker doesn't even show up with the name, so I'm not going to be able to use this to score an easy win. What if we do it alphabetically? Device census, death note, DTU driver. Okay, yeah, so it doesn't really matter. But did virus total finish? Okay, so I'm not going to be. Okay, yeah, it got worse. 42 out of 72. And nothing's changed. Still JAIK. Okay, that's fine. So we're going to have to go back and take a look at what was kicked off at that particular time in question. Which I'm going to go back to recent documents and see what was there. So we need to go back to administrator, into user dat. So C users administrator into user dat. What is it? Windows itself, Microsoft Windows, current version, Explorer, recent docs. Yes. Recent docs. All right. And we are looking for what time in particular? We want 2024-05-06 at 6:39:09. I don't suppose we can just kind of. I don't really want to filter. I was just hoping I could just pivot. Okay, it looks like maybe note.txt 2024-05-06 6:39:09, and that looks like it's it. So note.txt. All right, and then we're just down to when was MS Paint opened? Hooray! Okay. And that's Trinsit. Okay, yep, that's back over. I don't suppose MS Paint would no, because that would just be too easy. Okay, user assist then. Which was where? I'm starting to just get confused as to what was, where everything is. Because it should be what? I mean, we didn't have. Oh, we had user assistant here, so I just had to go down. Maybe. And then we have last. Yeah, we got last executed. So can I just go paint? I can do paint. And last executed. Right? That's what they want. Last executed time? Yes. So that would make it 2024-5-6-6-43-38. Hooray! Oh, cripe. Yeah, this would definitely be something you would want to make sure that you've done the Windows registry courses on in order to go through and do this. I will try to compile sites where I found the answers to some of these. But I mean, the sad thing is And we still have the Windows registry, so we still have this configuration or multiple configuration database files kicking around on the local file system that contain all this info. So, but it is what it is. So I'll get that stuff added in. Include a link to the virus total results for Death Note. And there we go. That has been the Windows Registry Challenge on the Let's Defend platform. And with all that being said, I will see everybody on the next video.